One of the most terrible stories during the Russian-Ukrainian war happened in the western suburb of Kyiv, town Bucha. There have been some mass murderings here, and currently there is an investigation process regarding the war crimes. So let's see the town and let's try to figure out what was really happening here during the Russian occupation period. I just arrived to the place near the church, and where was the mass grave, and it looks like there is exhumation of dead bodies happening now. I'm not sure if I'm ready to see it, but we probably should. You see, oh my god, they're taking the dead bodies from the mass grave there. Oh yeah, in the plastic bags. Everybody's lying. Terrible. Smell is very bad here.
Напали росіяни на нашу державу.
Russians attacked us.
І протягом окупації тут гинули люди.
And during occupation, people were dying here.
Can you say that Russia intentionally targets civilian population?
І спеціально, кожен день, постійно.
Systematically, every day they were targeting civilians. They didn't care if it's by car, by bicycle, they were just shooting people. They were looking for some mystical nationalists here, but every young person was stopped on the street. They were taking off his clothes, looking for some tattoos that might indicate some relation to national approach. And there are a few places around Bucha where mass graves have been found with direct traces of people were tortured with tied hands and shot into their back of their head. He can show the place where the woman was driving by car. She was shot in the car, and then other locals buried her next to the car, not knowing who is that person, just putting the number plate of the car on the top of the grave. During the first day, when there was mass burying, 67 people were buried. Чи була якась у вас небезпека безпосередньо за час перебування тут?
Ну, якщо мене обшуковували.
They were also checking what he has, his belongings, yes. Broke into his house, checked everything inside the house. They checked every page of his home library as well. Neighbor house was blasted. They also lived in that house before. And then before leaving, they simply blasted it. It was like thank you to the owner. This is our prosecutor general giving interviews and telling about what they witnessed, about how they documented everything. Here I found many journalists. This is definitely like one of the biggest events for this day. And I just met, what's your name?
Luis.
Luis is a friend of my friend Rafael, the Brazilian guy who escaped Lviv, and you might have seen him in one of my previous videos. So you can see that the world is a much smaller place than many people think, right? Nice to see you here, and thanks for sharing all this information to the world. People has to know definitely about the horrors happened here. This is one of the places of the mass grave. Bodies are being exhumated now. There are a couple of different locations around Bucha, and this is a direct evidence of the war crime. The church, people are just buried next to it. That's really hard. And there you could see like these towers that we just have been passing by, so you could have the feel of the area that's like just here, and the church next to it. Many relatives also are coming here. They don't know other like loved ones here or some neighbors. It's just this process is already going, and nobody knows how many people will be exhumated in general. When this man is telling is that when the column just passed, there was a white car with a man and a woman inside. So they were trying to get like on their way out of the city. However, somehow they like spotted them, and they simply like turned around and shoot the car. That's it.
He is here because he's part of the community, and I mean he's here participating to the sufferance of all the people, or he has someone particular here?
So he is a resident of Bucha. He is working here in school, and when he heard that there is going to be exhumation of the bodies, he decided to come here because he's not sure if there is like somebody he knows here. Yeah.
Is that true that they couldn't go out from the home and taking out the bodies from the street, or because you know there is all the Russian way, fake and blah blah? They really couldn't do it.
Sometimes local residents were allowed to go and bury the bodies, but it was depending on the mood of the soldiers. When they were robbing houses or apartments, they were taking everything they can, including watches, jewelry and other things. And one of the soldiers from the Russian army, he approached this man and he told, "I am from Siberia. I know that there are many looters among our army soldiers, but I cannot do anything with that." Now we came on the local cemetery of Bucha. There on the skyline you see those large towers, so the church is just behind them, and murdered people are taken here and then buried on those cemetery. Here is one of the new one, the young man, 30 years old. Visiting cemetery is always a very unpleasant experience, especially when you see fresh places being made. It makes you feel creepy. So relatives of this poor person even left some food for his spirit, which is a part of Ukrainian way, how we do it here. I think that was enough of stories from Bucha. It's like really even standing in this place is not a pleasant experience, but before we leave, just want to show you the town a little bit. Look, it's a normal town with the nice pavements, well maintained, in order everything, and the death came here. Now the name Bucha will be associated with this, with death, with terror. Oh, once it used to be a nice, prospering neighborhood, and now this tragedy will be remembered here for a long time, unfortunately.